I bet you've eaten water chestnut, but have you ever eaten earth chestnut? Today I'm talking about earth chestnuts, sometimes called pignut, which is kind of a weird name for it because like who wants to eat pignuts? I don't know about you UK people, why do you name stuff weird things? But this earth chestnut is still growing and has this beautiful green tops yet, these beautiful foliage, and I am so impressed that it is the beginning of December and this is still putting out green new growth. So I'm curious, so I'm going to disrupt the growth by uprooting this pot and let's see what these tasty little earth chestnuts are like. So these are an edible tuber that have like a crunchy little nut just like water chestnuts. Now the tops taste similar to parsley or even like a carrot top, but not, well, a little bit bitter, but maybe not as bitter as a carrot top, more like a parsley. When it does flower, it will have the flowers will turn into little seeds, which my research tells me that they will look exactly like human seeds and taste like human seeds, which I never got to experience that yet because I just got them this summer. So I've only had them for about 6-7 months. When I did get them, I did harvest a few of the tubers. They were quite small, and I was thinking that they were going to be a fall harvest. Now, I think these are generally harvested in the spring, but I want to look at these to see what's going on. Maybe I need to pot it up into a bigger pot because it's just wild to me that these are still growing when everything else has died back. Not everything. I've got a lot of things still go on in the food forest here, but in general, we've had a couple frosts, and this has done nothing. The frost has done nothing to this. So, I mean, that tells me that it's very frost hardy. Now, I was given 3 of these plants from one of my neighbors. This is the smallest of the 3 buckets that I have. So I figured I would check in and see what's going on with this and then share that with you guys. So I can already tell that potting this up into a pot was probably not the best idea because it is a ground tuber in that it wants to grow in the ground. And anything with tubers is going to be restricted to the pots that is in. Like if it wants to grow little tubers on these roots, I don't know if it will. Yeah, always good to put something in a pot though before you're planting it out if you don't actually know what it is. Oh my goodness, look at that root boundness. I just potted this up in the summer, so there is no tubers on this that I can see. There were some this summer when I inherited the plants, and as I said, she gave them to me bare root and pulled them out of the ground. So here's one little tuber starting to see there, but generally this is not healthy. This is not healthy. I should not have potted these guys up. I'm just gonna try to do a bigger division here. So now that I'm dividing it a little bit more, you can see there are some of the bigger earth nuts, and that's what we want. Again, this is meant to be harvested in the spring, but because it is so root bound right now, I think it's a great idea that I am splitting it apart now and we'll pot it up. So let's eat one of these guys just to see how are they doing for taste wise. And I'm really cutting into the main root here. Oh. Look at all those little earth chestnuts. Oh, I just cannot believe how root bound this was. Trying to see if I can separate out some smaller little plants from the mother root here. Okay, let's try one of these to eat. I've harvested just a small earth chestnut just to try it out. I did actually try this again in the summer and it was quite tasty and much bigger actually. This guy I just gave a quick rinse in some rainwater and brushed it on my pants. You could peel it if you were really concerned about dirt, but oh, yeah, there's a little bit of dirt in there. I'm gonna clean that off a bit better. That is sweet. Almost like a carrot, actually. It tastes like a sweet carrot. I was expecting it to taste nuttier, but it tastes like an earthy little carrot. Definitely something to add If it's going to keep growing in your food forest, why not, right? I think I'm going to be able to get a lot of little plants out of this, and I might just plant some around my food forest right now. My little forest garden area is getting pretty cramped, actually. I don't have a ton of space, and I don't have the best soil because it's very rocky here. But I think I can find a few spots to put in a few of these plants and see how they grow. And then the other ones I will keep in the pots until spring and then pot them up again, because those ones don't quite have the roots poking out of the pot as much as this one did. So I have divided that plant into about 4 or 5 little plants here, and I'm going to plant one directly into the ground into my food forest, and then the other ones I'm going to plant into an air prune bed for the winter, and then move them in the spring when I'm a little more prepared to know where I want to put these guys. All right, it is planted up here behind me, and I have mulched it with some straw, and in the spring I'll be able to harvest some bigger earth chestnuts. Now, if you also like sourcing perennial vegetables that will continue to provide for you year after year, make sure you're subscribed, because I like to post videos about tubers and find unique tubers to grow. If you are into winter tubers to harvest, make sure you watch this video next about growing some of those weird tubers that provide you with sustenance all winter long. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.